Hey, what is going on, guys? This is the SS Ultimate Goku back with another video, and we got some breaking news. The King of Heart, the Black Heart, Owen Hart, will be officially in AEW merchandising going forward. His likeness, the AEW and Martha Hart and the Hart Foundation, the Owen Hart Foundation, have come to an agreement with the relationship. And so because of this, they are going to be using Owen Hart in there. Now, obviously, unfortunately, they can't literally use Owen Hart, but they will be using Owen Hart for action figures, the video game. And I actually went on AEW's Reddit and actually had about 4 months ago it was, and asked about if he'd be in the AEW video game, because I thought for sure that this is possible, because this isn't WWE, and Martha had said that she just doesn't want to do business with WWE. She said that in the what's it called, Dark Side of the Ring, in the Dark Side of the Ring episode with Owen Hart. So that always told me, man, maybe he'll be in maybe he'll hit the video game. He'll be in the video game. And then, of course, 4 months later now, we hear this announcement. I think this is great for the wrestling community. Now, a lot of you guys that are watching this video right now, a lot of you guys didn't see Owen Hart wrestle on television or, live, or you obviously probably have heard of him, but a lot of the generation that started probably watching wrestling, say, in the Ruthless Aggression era or even later, probably don't know Owen, that's seen him, wrestle, when he was wrestling. And it's unfortunate. Owen Hart was a great wrestler. I did my top 10 a while back. I did a top 10 of guys who never won the world title, and this is one of them. Owen Hart was extremely underrated in terms of the not being contending for the world title ever, especially. And of course, not everyone wins it. And of course, back in that era, there was only one world champion in WWE, not two like there is today. But Owen was someone that was really good. And of course, obviously, there was some bad stuff, obviously with the whole Austin thing, he paralyzed Austin. But Owen was always very good technical wise. After the whole Blue Blazer tragedy happened live on pay-per-view, where unfortunately he fell to his death, still probably one of the darkest things in professional wrestling, probably outside of the Benoit thing. It really hit home to a lot of people, especially the people that were there in Kansas that probably seen it, happen live. That footage obviously has never been re-released to the public, obviously, of his tragic death, him falling to his death, unfortunately. But it's something, I watched the tribute on Raw when it first came out. It was a really sad event, especially when it happened the way it did. It still hits home to a lot of people that lived through it or had seen it live or had watched it. And so we move forward onto this. Obviously, Owen, because of Martha, the widow, holding WWE responsible, rightfully so, of the tragedy. Unfortunately, Owen hasn't been really displayed to most people. You know, he's hardly ever mentioned on WWE television. He's not really recognized by most people because most people can't really mention him. You know, you see, like, for example, Eddie Guerrero. You know, when he, you know, passed away with the heart attack, WWE mentions him almost all the time. Every time they got a chance to mention him, they mentioned him a bunch of different times. You don't really see that with Owen Hart. As a matter of fact, the last WWE game that had Owen Hart was the WWF Attitude game that came out in 1999, which ended up being a dedication to him, but, you know, because it was you know, they were already pretty much done with the game by the time, you know, it came out and the tragedy had happened. So they just kind of switched everything so it would be a tribute to him. But of course, he never was put in another WWE game again. After that, he was scratched from WrestleMania 2000, which was the game that came out later that year. And then, of course, Owen did go back into one more video game, but it was a non-WWF game, a non-WWE game, and that was the acclaimed Legends of Wrestling games, which was Legends of Wrestling 2, the sequel, as well as the third sequel game, which was called Showdown Legends of Wrestling, which was the last game that Acclaim put out before Acclaim went bankrupt. Those were non-WWE games, though. Those were just games that Acclaim did on their own, with legendary wrestlers. And that was the last game that Owen Hart was in. Showdown, The Legends of Wrestling, which came out in 2004. So Owen Hart has not been in an official video game since then. He hasn't had official action figures since then. And I know there was I know WWE did a DVD of Owen, but it was very, very vague DVD because they knew, you know, Martha wasn't a big fan of it. But also, they did do the Hart DVD, which I believe came out in the Hart Family DVD, which came out in 2012, and that showed a lot of Owen's like photos and stuff like that, which Martha actually took WWE to court for that one, so they weren't able to show any of that. So I should also mention that AEW is planning on doing an Owen Tournament thing. I don't know exactly how or what it's going to exactly, you know, like what you're gonna earn like a world title match or something like that. I think it might just be like a King of the Ring type deal for the Owen Hart Cup. That's one of the main things they're focusing on. But he's being put in the video game. He is being put in the action figures and whatnot, and any other merchandising. So a lot of people seem to be confused on what AEW can and can't do, and I can't definitively say what AEW can and can't do with Owen Hart's likeness. I'm almost certain that Owen Hart, obviously Martha owns Owen Hart's name, obviously, but in terms of what AEW can do, obviously they own, Martha owns the likeness of, you know, her widow, but also I think she owns the likeness to any of the outfits that he came out with when he was in WWE. I don't think they own those outfits. So say AEW wants to make an action figure of when Owen Hart, just for an example, you know, when he dressed up, you know, with his WrestleMania 14 outfit against Triple H. They can still use that. They just can't say it was from WrestleMania 14. Same thing with WrestleMania 10 against Bret Hart, his brother. You know, he can come out with that. They could still have the hairdo the same and whatnot. I think that's all going to be fine. I'm not exactly sure if they can use the Black Heart or the King of Hearts I don't know if WWE has the trademarks for those terms. If I was a betting person, I don't think they do, because obviously when the stuff went down the way it did, I think WWE did a lot of, obviously went to court and all that stuff. So in terms of those simple terms like the King of Heart or the Black Heart, because those were alias nicknames he would call himself, on WWE television. I don't think WWE owns the trademarks for those. I could be wrong. WWE is trademark friendly, but in terms of Owen Hart, obviously, since WWE really has not mentioned Owen Hart that much, something tells me they don't have the trademark to those terms, because one of the things about the trademark whole thing is when you trademark something, you actually have to use that. Obviously, a trademark can expire, but you also have to use it to justify your trademark. And WWE hasn't done any merchandise of the King of Hearts. They haven't done merchandise of Blackheart or anything like that for several years, since, they haven't really done anything since Owen Hart passed away, in terms of those terms. So I'm willing to bet they do not own those names if I had to bet. So I do think AEW, if they release like t-shirts or something like that, because I think they're going to release some t-shirt merchandise as well of Owen Hart. If I had to bet on it, I think they're going to probably use those terms, in their logo concept designs. But don't quote me on that. This is just my opinion on the matter. So in terms of what else they're doing with what are they doing with it? Obviously, AEW doesn't have a Hall of Fame, but Owen Hart is actually in 2 Hall of Fames that, in my opinion, are more legitimate than WWE's Hall of Fame, as well as Dave Meltzer's Hall of Fame, by the way, and that is the Hall of Fame in Idaho and the Hall of Fame in Texas. You guys can look them up. The Luthez Hall of Fame, as well as the Professional Wrestling Hall of Fame. Those Hall of Fames are more legitimate. They actually are like, pro football, where you get elected in there by a body, not by one person, like with Vince McMahon or Dave Meltzer deciding it. You get elected by a body or whatever. You get elected by a board of a body of people. So I think that's a much better Hall of Fame right off the bat, and he's in those Hall of Fames. So, like I said, figures. Again, this Owen Hart Cup. They said the winner will receive a cup known as the Owen. So it's basically a trophy. I don't, like I said, I don't, they get a cup, but, I'm wondering what this Owen Cup tournament really is. Is it a King of the Ring? Is it supposed to be like a Royal Battle? Like what WWE is doing with the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, for example, with just getting a trophy? Or are you getting a title shot as well? Do you get like a world title shot, for example? With this as well, not only just the cup. I'm wondering, because I think that would actually kind of make it a little more important, if the winner that gets the Owen Cup for this tournament will be the next number 1 contender at the next pay-per-view or something like that. I think that would actually be even better. You're getting a title shot now too. Because now you're deemed as kind of the next star or next breakout star or something like that. I think that would be kind of a good add-on to this Owen Hart Cup thing, but I am glad they're doing it. Like I said, original merchandise. And again, he'll be in the AEW video game whenever it comes out, which is really good. I'm very interested in how, there's a couple things. So in the AEW video game, they're depending on how Owen Hart is used in it, like if you can use him as a storyline character or something like that, you're gonna probably have to get a voiceover. Because obviously the WWE footage, the WWE footage that Owen Hart is in, WWE owns that because they own the tape library to anything that Owen Hart was in. So there's that. But obviously they don't own the person. So if they put him in a storyline in the video game, like they're gonna have to like probably get like a voice actor, I'm imagining, that can sound like him. That shouldn't be too difficult, but I like I said, I'm not sure how they're going to go about that. The only problem probably that AEW is gonna have is figuring out what his theme song in the video game is gonna be. Because obviously WWE owns the theme song that was used from both of them. The one earlier in his career as well as the one during the Attitude Era that he used. I still wish they would get Jim Johnson to be a music composer for AEW in itself, but maybe give a call to Jim Johnson and make a similar theme song for the video game that he used to have in WWE. I personally kind of wish they would kind of get a theme song that's very similar to the one he had in '97. Like something like that, but obviously maybe more of a picture type tone, so it's not the same. But still have those like police sirens in the beginning and whatnot. Yeah, this is going to be really good. I think this is a really good thing for wrestling fans that want to see Owen Hart in some capacity. Like I said, I think they're going to use still some like his outfits that he wrestled in WWE. I think they're able to use that. I think there's not really an issue with that. Because like I said, WWE doesn't really own him. They own the tape library to all his matches, but I don't think they own the outfits that he dressed in. So I think they can make action figures with the clothes that he came out with, not redesigning them to make them look different, like actually get the designs that he had, for Owen Hart. And again, it's going to be really cool to see Owen in a video game, especially in the era of the generation that we're in right now for video games. Because, like I said, the last time Owen Hart was in a video game, it was the PlayStation 2 and the GameCube era, and original Xbox because that was the for Showdown of the Legends of Wrestling. That was the last video game. And then if you go back and don't count those ones, the last time was the N64 era. When he was in WWF Attitude. So this will be really the first time we have an official game in the new gen era, because we're talking PlayStation 3, we're talking PlayStation 4. Now we're getting into the PlayStation 5 gen era. As well as for the Xbox and all the other Nintendo systems. But this is the first time we're going to see him in a video game where it's in HD and high quality for Owen Hart, which I think is really cool that we're going to get to see that again, finally. Officially, not a create a wrestler type deal, but an actual Owen Hart, official licensed, wrestler, and then we're gonna see licensed, action figures. Like I said, I'm not exactly sure how AEW is gonna go about it. I think AEW pretty much has the clear on doing any of the stuff. They just can't mention his historical matches that he wrestled in these outfits within. and the theme song. They're going to have to give him a new theme song for the video games, for his entrance music. You know, hopefully it's something similar to his old 97 theme, because I really loved the 97 tone theme that they did for him, that Jim Johnson did. Maybe they can do something very similar to it, where it's not outright copying it, but it's very similar. Because I'd really like to see that. And yeah, this is great news for wrestling fans. I'm really happy that this is happening. I had a feeling this was going to happen. I really had a feeling. Like I said, I made this post on Reddit like 4 months ago talking about Owen Hart possibly being in the AEW video game. I'm not kidding about this. I'll link it, you know, for you guys to see. Like, I was talking about this in the AEW official Reddit like page. Like, I really thought this might happen, and it is. But it's happened even more than I thought it was going to happen. Not just a video game character, it's going to happen the whole 9 yards. Merchandise, figures, They're going to have a King of the Ring type tournament named after him. You know, really good for the wrestling fans, and I'm really happy this happened. What do you guys think? Do you guys think this was the right move? Do you think this was the right call from Martha and AEW to do this relationship? What do you think? Do you like this? Let me know what you guys think. Comment, rate. If you like this video or any of my videos, please subscribe. Hit that notification bell for all the latest content. And that is about it, guys. I am the Ultimate Goku Moderator. Peace!